Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina with another Sunday night live stream show. That's right, it's Sunday night, y'all. It is Sunday night, June 19th, and we are ready for another Sunday night live stream show here at Fish Famous Hubbard's Marina inside Johns Pass. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that sunset view. That's right, we got a brand new webcam. We're going to be talking about that a little bit tonight too. Very, very excited about our new webcam view, so you can watch the sun rise, you can watch the sun set, and now you'll be able to watch the bridge and the boats. It'll be really, really cool. So we're super excited about that. And also want to give a shout out to our friends over at Gator Jim's Tackle at 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Petersburg. If you haven't checked out our friends over at Gator Jim's Tackle, you're missing out. Killer deals, huge selection, great sales. If you haven't been to Gator Jim's yet, you're doing yourself a disservice. Get over there and see our friends at Gator Jim's and make sure you tell them Hubbard's Marina sent you. Again, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Petersburg. This show is made possible by our friends over at Gator Jim's and viewers like you, supporters, people sending stars. We got Tim Dykes sending 300 stars. We got Adam James, Jim Evans, Larry White, Dennis Woodcocks, all sending stars before the show. And of course, Angelo, I don't want to pronounce your last name, Angelo, but send in 1,000 stars. Appreciate you a lot. Very, very cool and super, super helpful. Those stars are a huge help, and they kind of fuel our live show. And then that with our supporters, those of you who are supporters, subscribers, and are able to access that private supporters group, those people are the ones who kind of fuel and make this live show possible. So Gator Gyms, those sending stars, and our supporters in our private supporters group, super, super appreciative of all you guys. And shout out to all of you who are watching, who help fuel the motivation to do our live stream show. So thank you all for watching and hanging out with us tonight on this Sunday night, again, June 19th. We do these live stream shows every Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. We talk a little bit about what's going on now. We show you what we're catching. We talk about what's coming up. We show you the weather, and then we answer your questions live during the show. And we give away over $800 in free fishing trips. So if you have a question that you want answered live during the show, you have to text us at this phone number right here. That's how you get your questions answered live. If you just comment your questions in the feed, we don't always see them. So make sure if you want a question answered live during the show, make sure you text us at this phone number right here. If you want a chance to win free trips during tonight's show, you have to comment one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. Nick Nieves, appreciate those stars, buddy. 1,350 stars. You're the man, Nick. Appreciate you so much. Thank you, buddy. So if you want a chance to win free trips, comment once on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. Go over to Facebook, find the Hubbard's Marina Facebook page, and then comment one time, anything you want, to get a chance to win one of those free trips. And then you got to stay tuned and watch the show live, because if you're picked as one of the lucky winners, you have to text us at this phone number within about 5 minutes to prove that you're watching live. So in order to win, comment once on our Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream, watch the show live, and then if you're picked as a lucky winner, text that phone number within 5 minutes. If you want your question answered live during the show, text that phone number your question. All right, guys? If you're watching on Instagram, make sure you go over to Instagram.com, find our page on Instagram.com on your phone's browser. You can turn your phone sideways and catch the full screen. If you're watching on Trovo or Twitch, make sure you subscribe to our channel. On Instagram as well, Facebook, make sure you like our page and like the video. Give a video a thumbs up, give it a like, no matter where you're watching, we appreciate it. Anthony Barnes, appreciate those stars, buddy. Thank you so much. With that, let's roll into some of these photos. We got a ton of photos to show you tonight. So we're going to start out with watching our inshore photos first, show you guys what we've been catching inshore, and then we're going to work our way offshore and show you what we've been catching a little deeper. But first, let's show you what we're catching inshore. And right now, we've been seeing some of those redfish. Water is warm. Summertime is in full swing. Air is hot, water's hot, but you're finding those redfish around those shaded mangrove shorelines. Higher tides allow those redfish to get up in there in the shade and forage for some of those crustaceans, bait fish, and some of those other species that they're finding up there in the mangroves, in the roots. And right now, with the water so hot, fish are looking for shaded areas which hold more dissolved oxygen. Higher water temperatures hold lower concentrations of oxygen. Cooler water temperatures hold higher concentrations of oxygen. So cooler waters and shaded areas, deeper areas, incoming tides with cooler waters coming from the Gulf, from the deep, are going to bring more dissolved oxygen content. More dissolved oxygen content means more actively feeding fish. So look for shaded areas, look for those incoming tides, fish those pockets, fish those deeper areas. Those fish are looking for some of that reprieve for that hot water. And definitely nighttime, early morning, late in the day, around sunset is a good time to target them. Snook loaded up in the passes. We're seeing some big snook in the passes. They're so thick, even I can catch them. So you can too. Nick Wyatt, appreciate those stars, man. Thank you, buddy. Snook are definitely active around the area. Local passes, bridges, seawalls, structures leading into the passes, out on our beautiful beaches. We're still seeing plenty of snook in the back bay waters too. But the bridges, jetties, and areas approaching passes are holding more of those fish, especially where they can hide out, ambush passing bait, and get higher dissolved oxygen contents, like shaded dock areas on the way to passes, on those deep drop-offs. That's where those snook are hanging out more actively. We're seeing a lot of tarpon in the area. We're on the backside of a full moon, so water's moving a little slower now. We're on that last quarter moon, so weaker tides, which make it a little bit tougher to target those tarpon. We're coming up on that new moon, though, which means new moon, more moving water, which will mean that tarpon bite will improve for us. Jess Snyder, appreciate those 99 stars. Thank you so much, Jess. Trout bite has been good. Deeper grass flats, 5, 6, 7, 8, even 9 foot of water. Good areas to target those trout. Deeper edges of the flats in shallower water, pockets, passes, all good areas to look for those trout. Basically, the theme right now is finding those areas where those fish can lie in wait, expel less energy, and be less susceptible to those warmer temperatures. Christine, appreciate those stars. Hope you and Pete are doing well. Thanks for coming out today, Christine. Let's work our way near shore and offshore and show you guys what we've been catching out there. Ryan Kelly, appreciate those 200 stars, buddy. Near shore and offshore, we've been seeing some solid red grouper lately. Of course, the red snapper. Look at this right here. Solid 34-pound gag grouper. 34-pound gag grouper. Let me repeat that. We had one gag grouper that was 35.8 pounds. This one's 34 pounds. Our big scamp is almost 16 pounds. Our big red snapper is almost 21 and a half pounds. Catching some really big fish recently. It's a great time to get out there on the Gulf and take advantage of that hot bite. Stephen Batchelor, appreciate those stars. Brian Hausler, Craig Robinson, appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Catching a lot of the red grouper, scamp grouper, gag grouper. We're seeing a lot of these red snapper. The last 39 hour that came in today, they had almost 100 keeper grouper. Pretty crazy. Christine Schrock, appreciate those stars. Solid red snapper lately. Plenty of scamp, plenty of red grouper, plenty of big gags. Deeper water right now is on fire. We're fishing 160, 220 foot of water, and that's what's enabling us to catch these big gag grouper, fat red snapper. The red snapper have been biting just about anything. Big gags have really liked larger live bait and also big chunks of the dead bait. Solid scamp grouper on some medium to small pinfish, squid strips, cut thread fins, even the slow pitch jigs, diamond jigs are all working well. We're starting to see more and more of these chicken dolphins moving into the area. Warmer weather brings in those chicken dolphins. I mean, the scamp just won't quit. Scamp for days. We're still catching a few nice hogfish on our nearshore private fishing charters on the hub. Our 5-hour half days, 10-hour all days, we're still seeing some of those hogfish. But mostly the 10-hour all day has been a lot of lane snapper, a few mangrove snapper, a few red grouper, plentiful lanes, vermilions, and then gray snapper and porgies. 5-hour half day has been mostly gray snapper and porgies, but we are still catching a few of those hogfish. The hub is even getting some of those red snapper, solid gags, and fat red snapper on the flying hub too. Captain Seabass is doing really well on the hub, getting it dialed in. Big gag grouper on the extreme. Fat red, this is a red grouper in nearshore waters, shallower waters. We're seeing some of those on the 10-hour. The slow pitch jigs have been crushing fat red snapper. There's another nearshore red grouper, offshore red grouper, big red snapper offshore, monster vermilion snapper, holy moly. Solid gag grouper, big scamp. I want to give a shout out to some stars senders here. Christine Schrock, D. Beers with 500 stars. Thank you, D. Daniel Ward, Fatim Tosca, and Mr. Stockdale. Appreciate you guys so much for sending those stars, y'all. And as I was saying, solid gag, scamp, red grouper. Look at this. This is that 35.8 pound gag. Kind of a weird photo of it, but that is a really, really big fish. Just kind of a weird angle. Doesn't make it look very big. This is a different gag. You can see this was a shark bite survivor. Pretty cool when you see this kind of thing on a fish. This was very obviously where a shark or perhaps maybe even a dolphin tried to take a bite out of that fish, and it survived, recovered, grew up and got bigger and meaner, and he's been around the block once or twice for sure, and survived to make it to our fish box. So pretty cool. Solid red snapper, still some of those the hogfish. Definitely a lot of gag grouper. I mean, just these offshore photos won't quit. Look at that, a fat red snapper with a good scamp on the box behind him. Just endless grouper, snapper, and more right now offshore on our 39-hour adventures. We're seeing a lot of those 39-hour trips, 12-hour extreme trips, catching a lot of good fish. So hopefully you get an opportunity to join us. Fatim Tosca, appreciate those stars. Thank you so much. A lot of people traveling down, getting out there on the water. We got lots of opportunities to catch these fish. Look at that monster mangrove snapper right there. Big old scamp. Fat red grouper. Big red snapper. Nice scamp. It's a throwback trigger. Solid red snapper. I mean, these photos just don't quit. We had 77 photos near shore and offshore tonight. Almost too many. It's pretty intense. Another throwback trigger fish. Big red snappers. Just absolutely insane fishing right now. More like catching than fishing. Great time to get out there on the water. We still got plenty of availability on our 12-hour extreme trips and 39-hour trips, especially as you get into July and especially as you get into August. But a lot of these trips have had last-minute cancellations. Today's trip left the dock with 2 open spots. Tuesday, we have an open spot available. We've had a lot of last-minute cancellations, which have allowed us plenty of opportunities to get some more people on the boats. So hopefully you'll get a chance to join us and get out there and go fishing on our 12-hour extreme trip, 39-hour trip, 44-hour trips, all trips with opportunities to catch the fish we just showed you offshore, being fat red grouper, big scamp grouper, and more. So hopefully you have an opportunity to join us before this short red snapper season is over. End of day, August 18th. Remember the FWC season that everybody's talking about that ends July 31st. That has nothing to do with us here at Hubbard's Marina. We're able to catch those red snapper all the way through end of day, August 18th. So hopefully you'll get a chance to join us and take advantage of that long red snapper season. Craig Robinson, appreciate those stars. And Shanna McCardle, appreciate the stars as well. Thank you, guys. All right, let's work our way offshore a little bit and talk about weather. Let's see what we got weather-wise here at Hubbard's Marina. So if you go over to hubbardsmarina.com, underneath the Fishing Trips tab, you can scroll down to Weather Links underneath the Info tab. You also have the Weather Links page as well. Once you get over here to the Weather Links page, under the Wind Finder forecast area, I always like to start off on the 5 and 10 hour forecasts. That way it gives you a chance to kind of start inshore, and then I'll work my way a little bit deeper into that 10 and 12 hour forecast area, and kind of lets me look at inshore, near shore, and then offshore with that 12-hour extreme and 39-hour area. So the 5 and 10 hour forecast is definitely looking pretty darn nice right now. Not terrible. And we're seeing a little bit of weather, a little bit of wind tomorrow night picking up. And Tuesday's looking a little breezy, but the sea height doesn't come up too much, only about a 1.5 foot. And then we're seeing some nice conditions into Wednesday. And then it's going to start calming down a little bit there into Thursday. Definitely a little bit more breezy than we would like it there Monday afternoon, Monday night into Tuesday, but doesn't really make it super, super crazy bumpy. Most of that weather is going to be Tuesday, but like I said, as you can see here, it doesn't really even get above 3 foot near shore. Then this is kind of new for us, Friday, forecasting some wind. This is a first I've kind of seen that. That could change. It's still very early. But as you can see there, even Friday in that higher wind period, it still doesn't get above 3 foot, only calling around 2 foot seas. So hopefully that will persist all week. So inshore forecast, the Egmont Key forecast, doesn't have anything over 2 foot all week long. We just got a little bit of a period of higher wind Tuesday and Wednesday if you're looking at that near shore forecast. If you go back to hubbardsmarina.com, the Weather Links page, we're going to work our way a little deeper and look at that 10 and 12 hour forecast area, and still here, still looking about the same, nothing less than about 3 foot. So a little bit bumpier, 45 miles from shore. This buoy is 45 miles out. Tuesday gets up to 3 foot, but still really nice all the way through the weekend. Nothing over 2.5 foot. So Tuesday and Friday look like potentially the bumpier days, but still not really super crazy. We're going to work our way all the way offshore. Tuesday, which was the problem day, only 3.5 foot, not crazy. And then Friday, only about 2.5. So it doesn't matter any way you slice it right now. Wind looks a little bit moderate to increased Tuesday and Friday, but not too bad. and not super crazy. So Tuesday and Friday going to be a little bit of an increased wind, a little bit more bumpy, but not enough to make us cancel trips. And then we potentially might have a pretty rainy start to the weekend next weekend, but it's super early and that could change. So we're not going to put a lot of stock in that quite yet, because like I said, it can change considerably before we get there. But right now, Tuesday and Friday, calling a little bit of an increased wind with an increased rain chance coming up this coming Saturday. Lance Hall, appreciate those 200 stars. Jeff Pritchett as well. Thank you so much, guys. All right, so we've gotten through some photos. We've shown you what we've been catching. We talked about the weather. It's time for our first free trip giveaway of the night. We're going to give away our 10-hour all-day for 2 guests. First here tonight, 10-hour all-day for 2 guests. We're going to let Josh get that ready. Let's see who won. Mary Atkins, congratulations, Mary Atkins, for that lucky winner. That is a Tampa Bay viewer, Mary Atkins. Remember, you got 5 minutes or less to claim your free trip by texting us your full home address to this phone number right here. That's how you claim your free trip and prove you're watching live. So congratulations, Mary. Make sure you claim that free trip. Remember, if you want to win some free fishing trips, you got to comment at least one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream in order to be eligible to win. We got some announcements here, and then we're going to get into your questions. We may or may not get a call from our friend Capt. Mike Anderson. We may or may not get a call from our friend Captain Brian Holland. It is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers who are watching tonight. So Father's Day has kind of thrown a little bit of a monkey wrench into our live stream show plans, but it is what it is. I did have an incredible Father's Day dinner. Worked today, so I was at the marina most of the day, but we made the most of our Father's Day dinner. Holy moly, my brother-in-law made my father-in-law and I dinner, along with my wife and mother-in-law, and it was an incredible steak, shrimp, fish combo with fries and salad, caprese salad. It was incredible. Ate way too much food. Very tired right now, but I'm surviving on Red Bull and whiskey, if we're being honest. All right. So, announcements. That's what I was going to say. We announced our slow pitch jig fishing trips. Josh, do we have that photo handy? Maybe we will show that. I know I said we wouldn't, but if we have that photo handy, we do have a total of 5 12-hour extreme trips coming up before the end of the year that are slow pitch jigging trips only. So we're super excited about that, and super excited about our opportunity to get out there and do some more of these slow pitch jigging only trips, and very excited to catch a bunch of those fat red grouper, scamp grouper, and mangrove snapper, and all the other fish that we see on the slow pitch jigs. Here are the dates for our upcoming slow pitch jig trips for the rest of the year. August 29th, September 30th, October 18th, November 29th, December 13th. Those are 12-hour extreme style trips. They're not on a Wednesday or Sunday. Those are off calendar days. Obviously, they're listed right there. It's Monday, August 29th, mostly Tuesdays. These are kind of scheduled outside of our normal schedule because we limit the number of people who go. So we can only take 11 people. Really, we can take 12, but I only say 11 because I hold a spot for myself. So we can only fish 12 people, 6 down either side of the fly nub too, because we limit the load since we're going jig fishing. Jig fishing only, kind of more for intermediate to experienced jig fishermen, people who have their own tackle, their own jigs, kind of have a general sense of what they're doing. First timers can join us, but you really need to have a jig fishing rod, slow pitch jig fishing rod, slow pitch jig fishing reel, the right jigs, and the right tackle. You can get out there and kind of learn your way around it, but you need to have a sense of how to fish. You need to be a more advanced angler. You need to have the right tackle and the right jigs. But you can start out there as a intermediate to beginner level as long as you have the right tools for the job. Then we have a 39-hour trip, jig fishing only. That's a Sunday 39-hour, November 13th. Super excited about that. That's limited to a total of 20 passengers and myself. So these are my personal fishing trips for the rest of the year, and you can join me if you'd like. I'm super excited and planning on going on all 6 of these trips myself, and Captain Joe, myself, Captain Rich, and on November 13th, we're planning to rope my cousin, Captain Garrett, into going with us too. So it'll be Joe, myself, and Rich on all the 12-hour extremes, and then Captain Garrett hopefully joining that team for the 39-hour trip. Jig fishing only, but we will be doing some trolling on the 39-hour, which you can troll jigs. So no bait, jigs only. It's going to be a lot of fun. So hop on some of these trips if you are interested in that style of fishing, because they are going to fill up extremely quickly. I think we already have about 5 to 10 people scheduled on that jig fishing 39-hour trip. It's filling up super fast. Next year, we're probably going to add more of those jig fishing trips, but they are going to be more money because these trips that we scheduled this year, we've basically been losing money on because we limit the number of passengers. We don't offer another trip. That's why they're kind of on off days. People are like, why don't you do a jigging trip during red snapper season? Why don't you do one on a weekend? It's because we're telling 40% of the people they can't go. We're cutting capacities by 60 to 70% to do these jig fishing trips. And it really cuts into our ability to operate a business successfully. So the jig fishing trips will have to be more expensive. This year we're kind of running them at cost. So they're the same price as a normal trip, just so we can kind of get a chance to get people out there, get people experienced at it, and get jig fishing kind of normalized here at Hubbard's Marina. Once people know we're offering it and we can prove it's successful, which we already have through our YouTube videos, then we're going to start moving it into a little bit more of a higher price trip because it's a limited capacity trip. But not yet, not this year. With that, also want to again reiterate our brand new webcam. Josh is in the middle of something, but when he's done, I'm going to show you our new webcam page at Hubbard's Marina. If you go to hubbardsmarina.com, click info, you can click webcam, and once you do that, you'll be able to see our new webcams, and they are extremely cool. So go over to hubbardsmarina.com. Under the info tab, you can scroll down and click webcams. It's the third option. And right here on the webcam page, you're going to see our 3 webcam options. The first one is the John's Pass camera. The second one is fishing boat offloading. And the third one is big fish weigh-in. So John's Pass camera is the new one. If you go to the big fish weigh-in, this is a camera that looks at the front of our office. Sometimes you'll have this effect and you just got to control F5 or refresh the page and it will give you the view that you're looking for, but you're just looking at the weigh-in area in front of our office. Then fishing boat unloading is going to be the dock cam, the camera that used to stream to our YouTube page. That's the dock cam, which is now called just fishing boat unloading. And the new camera, which is super cool, which we're super excited about, is the John's Pass camera. And that's going to be the camera that's looking out over the top of the parking garage. This camera is going to be streamed live not only to our website page here, but also live to our YouTube when we're not doing our live stream show. It's going to look out over the sunset at the sunset time, and then during sunrise, during times that the boats are leaving, it's going to be looking at different areas. So this can actually scroll 360 degrees around. It can look up, it can look down, it can zoom in almost a mile. So really, really, really cool camera. We're going to have a lot of fun trying different things with this and kind of trying some new tricks and showing you guys a live view of the past. And that's going to, again, be streaming right to our YouTube channel all the time and to our website as well, anytime you would like to view it as well. So on the website or YouTube, you can find that new camera. Now, it's not streaming live to YouTube right now because we're streaming live ourselves, but it will be streaming live as soon as this live stream show is over. We'll get that up and running on our YouTube channel once again. Fletcher's Custom Rods is the new rod and reel, or the new custom rod company we're working with. We're still going to carry our Bull Bay rods. We're still going to have the same rods that we've had, but we're increasing our line of custom rods. And Fletcher's Custom Rods are going to be a little bit more customizable. We're going to have a little bit larger of a selection. We're super excited to increase the custom line of Hubbard's Marina rods, thanks to Fletcher's rods and Bull Bay rods. So lots of custom options, custom built by Hubbard's Marina, for Hubbard's Marina, for you and our fishing friends. And super excited to get those rods in the shop here soon, thanks to our friends over there at Fletcher's Custom Rods. Then also our final announcement of upcoming events. We have our Sunday seminar at Bass Pro Shops coming up Sunday, July 24th. Sunday, July 24th at 2 p.m. We're going to be live in person at the Tampa Bass Pro Shops. So if you want a chance to join us, again, that's going to be Sunday, July 24th. 2 p.m. Mark your calendars and join us Sunday, July 24th at Tampa Bass Pro Shops. This week, Tuesday night, June 21st, Captain Mike Anderson and Bobby Lane are going to be live at Bartow Ford talking about bass fishing, freshwater fishing, and lots of other good stuff. And they're going to have free food from Silver Ring Cafe and be giving away cool stuff, real animal swag, and more, Engel coolers. So definitely go check them out Tuesday night, Bartow Ford, Captain Mike Anderson, and Bobby Lane talking freshwater, inshore, and bass fishing. And really, really cool seminar opportunity this Tuesday, June 21st. Our next seminar, July 24th at 2 p.m. at Tampa Bass Pro Shops. All right, with that, it's time to get into some questions. Let's see what questions you have, guys. So our first question, do you offer rod and reel service? I bought a Daiwa LD 50 years ago from your shop and would like to give it service. Nothing wrong with it, just want to get it checked out. We do not offer service technically. We do have a rod and reel service gentleman who works with us. His name is Dave. He's there on Mondays and Fridays in the morning from like 9 to noon. You can stop in and see Dave. You're welcome to drop off your reel with him, and he does do work on guest reels, but it's not something super regular. If you have a reel that you would like serviced, Real Deal Outdoors is a great option. Also, Betts Fishing Center and Southeastern Fishing Tackle Liquidators in Tampa are all great options for rod and reel repair. So Southeastern, Betts, Real Deal Outdoors are all three options for rod and reel repair in our area. We don't do it ourselves, nor do we really have the space or logistic ability to accomplish it. But Dave does work with us Mondays and Fridays, 9 to noon, and he does work on customers' reels. But if you want something turned around quickly or you have some kind of crazy, fancy new reel, I would suggest going to one of those places. Richard Fonzio, appreciate those stars. Thank you so much. I have two grandkids, 6 and 10, that love to fish. I would love to know a good place on shore to take them. Shore fishing is one of those things that can be a little bit hit and miss. You really want to watch the tides and capitalize on those salooner major and minors. Places like John's Pass, fishing piers like Skyway Fishing Pier, Clearwater Fishing Pier, the Gulf Pier, all good areas to target. The biggest thing is making sure you have the right tackle for the job. 6 and 10 years old, they just want a little bit of action most of the time. So using a small hook and using a lighter tackle setup, like super light 10, 12, 15-pound test, a very small hook, like a pinfish hook, gold hook, small piece of bait, small little chunk of shrimp dropped right along the side of a piling or a seawall is a great way to just get some action, get some fish biting, get some bites going, and keep the fish's attention and also your grandchildren. So I would suggest that, lighter tackle, small pieces of bait, fishing around any local fishing pier or seawall. Can a fishing rod be shortened? Yes, it could be shortened, but I don't recommend it. You shorten a rod, typically it affects the action significantly. And whenever you shorten a rod, you want to shorten it from the butt. If you shorten it from the tip, it makes it a lot stiffer and a lot less sensitive, and it cuts out a lot of the sensitivity action of the tip. So most of the time when you have a rod blank, that's like 8.5 foot, you can cut a foot off the butt of the rod, and the tip is just going to get a little bit more flexible. You're going to have a little bit less backbone, but it's still going to work really, really well. So you could have a 50 to 100 pound class blank that's 8.5 foot. You could cut a foot off of it, and then all of a sudden it's a 30 to 80 pound class blank because you've taken a foot of that rod structure away. So you can shorten rods, but it's not really recommended beyond the kind of manufacturer's dimensions. If they put out a rod that was 6 foot, they put it out for 6 foot for a reason. But if you're building a custom rod, you can definitely get it shorter to start. Or if you have a rod you really like, you can talk to a custom rod builder who can try to shorten it without affecting its action. But really, if you have a rod you like, shortening it is going to affect the action and is going to change that rod considerably. Can you keep whitebait like sardines and greenbacks alive in the live wells on the 39-hour trip? Not really, no. Especially in the summertime. The summertime is extremely overrated red snapper season, and we have a lot of live bait in the wells. We have a lot of people on their trips because everybody and their brother only thinks, and their sisters, mothers, sisters, grandpas, all think red snapper is the only time to fish during the year. So the trips are sold out, live wells are packed full of bait, and it's super, super hot. The water is super hot. So hot water, lots of live bait means low oxygen. So keeping greenbacks and thread fins alive in a lower oxygen environment is already difficult. Then our live wells are pretty good sized, but they are squared and they're metal. So squared metal live wells, greenback or a thread fin swimming in there is going to bruise its face and it's going to die probably before you get to your first fishing spot after a 7-9 hour ride out, especially if it's a little bumpy. Those live wells are getting sloshed around. Those baits aren't going to make it in the hot water temperatures. And being in a square metal live well, it's not going to work well. They're super, super fragile baits. A pinfish, a pigfish, squirrelfish, all the bait that you buy from us or that you would bring out normally on an offshore trip, they can survive just fine. But the white bait definitely doesn't want to survive very well in those live wells. Let's see, what other questions do we have? Are the pinfish for the 39-hour trip still really small? Is the weather still really bad? No. Did we just recover from a historically terrible red tide? Yes. So, is it fishing? Is it fishing, not catching? Yes. So it depends. I mean, someone asked me about that today. I mean, yes, at the beginning of red snapper, gag grouper season in June, we had some small pinfish because we all of a sudden went from having 100 to 200 to 300 to maybe 500 baits ordered a day to all of a sudden everybody and their brother, sister, mother, grandpa wanted to go fishing June 1st. So now we went from 500 baits on order to 3,000 baits on order. And you have to find those fish and stay on them. Pin fishing is just like red snapper fishing offshore. You got to dial in those fish. You got to follow them around. You got to find their spots. Fish move. And it gets rough. And sometimes you can't get to those fish. The big pinfish, we got to go 6, 7, 8 miles, 9 miles out for, which before this red tide, you could catch big pinfish inside the bridge at John's Pass. So this red tide has destroyed our fishery, and we're having to travel further for those pinfish. You can't go 6, 7, 8 miles out in a 22-foot boat if it's 3 foot. So if it's at all weather adverse conditions, the day before or the day previous to your trip, you can bet that our pinfish are going to be a little smaller because we had to fish in the bay. We fish in the bay, we're going to get smaller pinfish because the bay is still recovering from that hard red tide event. So if you want to catch pinfish and you want really, really big pinfish, don't buy them from us. Come down 2 days before your trip, get a live well, get a battery, run the system in your truck, fill your truck bed full of salt water, stay out there for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours and catch them yourself. If you want to have the luxury of coming down to the dock and having the bait there available to you, we don't make money on those pinfish. That's a service, and it's a huge headache for me. I would much rather not sell pinfish. It's something off my plate I don't have to mess with, and it's less stress for me, and we don't miss out on a lot of money because we make pennies on pinfish. It's a service to our guests to provide just a ease of service because you can show up and the pinfish are there. It's convenience for you. But yes, sometimes they are small. Sometimes we don't have them. Sometimes they don't swim in the trap. Sometimes the fish move. Sometimes the weather's bad and we can't get to them. Sometimes we have a power outage and 100 dozen baits die, like what happened the other day. So we have not yet once missed our order. So if you order baits, we've had your bait for you, but they have been a little bit small, especially towards the beginning of red snapper season when we had a lot of bad weather. The weather's been a lot nicer now, so we haven't really had the issue with smaller baits. They've been getting bigger, but can I sit here and tell you, yes, when you come down, your bait will be big? No, because weather could be bad. Power could go out. We could have countless numbers of issues. So you want to guarantee big bait, come down and catch them yourself. And then you can hand pick what bait you want to bring down to the dock. Michael Van, appreciate those stars. Ryan Kelly, Angelo, appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Let's see here. What time? Oh, it's getting to be that time. It's time for our second free trip of the night giveaway. We're going to give away our 5-hour half day for 2 guests. 5-hour half day for 2 guests. Let's see who the lucky winner is. Whitney Landsteiner. Congratulations from Minnesota. Minnesota. I can't do that accent right, but you know what I was getting at. Definitely awesome to see some of our northern friends watching the show tonight. Hopefully y'all are faring better than your Florida friends. We don't have snow or super cold temperatures, but boy, are we going through it. Getting brutalized. It's funny this time of year, Floridians, complain about the heat, and it always cracks me up. It's like we live in Florida. Y'all were posting October through March about how you were going to the beach in the winter and it was so beautiful out. And then come June, everybody's like, it's so hot. You've been bragging for 6 months about Florida weather, and now you're going to complain about it. It is extremely hot right now, but it's part of living in Florida. And all of a sudden, we get used to it. By the end of June, into July, we're not complaining about it anymore. And then we make it through September. What?
And then we put on jackets.
Yeah. Yeah, then we make it through September, August, somehow August, September, when it's extremely, brutally more hot. And then we get into October, and then we bundle up like little Eskimos when it's 70 degrees outside. I'll be wearing jeans and a parka in October with our first cold front. So looking forward to that, but you won't hear me complain about it being hot, at least not super loudly, because you'll hear me bragging in December when we're going out to the beach and it's 80 and sunny and gorgeous. Hurricanes, schmurricanes, we're not worried about those things.
When we do have our hurricane, though.
When we do have a hurricane, the only thing I'm worried about is having enough whiskey.
Tune into our live
Yeah.
cam.
Yeah. Our new live cam is going to be internet banger with another hurricane. So always looking forward to that. And today, Josh got the live cam up and running, our brand new live cam up and running around 3 o'clock today. He texted me, or at least he texted me earlier probably, and I didn't see it till 3.
39 hours going out.
Exactly, because the 39 hours going out. Your mic's off, so people can't really hear you. But I finally saw that Josh had texted me the new webcam was up, and I actually turned it to watch those storms, the afternoon thunderstorms, move in from the East Coast. So it was really cool to see, and hopefully you got an opportunity to see that and watch the weather roll in, because we're excited about that for sure, and seeing opportunities. Oh, there's all the boys fishing for snook. Josh, we're going over to that screen. So Josh just pulled up the webcam. This is the back side of the webcam. This is, sorry, hit the wrong button, folks. This is the back side of the webcam where actually the controls are. But here is all our friends fishing the jetty. We're going to zoom in on our buddies. It should kick right to it. Oh, I thought I had a zoomed in preset. So we're going to zoom in on our buddy John Sasser and his boys out here fishing. This is the IR view, so during the daylight you're going to have color. Hopefully they're not doing anything crazy. Are they fighting a tarpon right now? A lot of people over there. No, I think it's just a family having fun. Watch when it actually catches and focuses. It's absolutely insane.
Well,
This.
right now the resolution is down.
Oh yeah, the resolution's down because we're previewing it. Oh yeah, we're not showing them the actual stream. True. Yeah, the resolution's not. Oh, you can actually change it right here, I believe, for a second, and then it'll cut out. Maybe. It didn't really fix it. Oh, that's Shannon. I know her. That's Shannon and her son, Zach. That's funny. Well, you guys get the idea. It's really, really cool, and you'll be able to see that, and we're going to move it around. You'll be able to see the sunrise, sunset. You'll be able to watch the fishermen over there on the jetty. You'll be able to see our boats coming and going. It's a really, really, really cool new webcam that we have. Basically like having a drone up in the air at all times, 365. And during storms, going to be really cool. The afternoon thunderstorm that rolled through this afternoon, if you were watching, you actually saw the heat lightning, saw some big lightning strikes over the VA. It was really, really interesting. So super excited to get that up. That was something I've been wanting to do for 10 plus years. Just struggled to get any cooperation with our previous landlord. Now we have a new landlord. They were super willing to do it, but just struggled to get someone to work with me on it. And our landlord here in the studio was actually the one who made that possible. Procured the camera, got the technology, and then our building manager installed the wiring over at the garage. Our landlord actually works with our landlord here at the studio, so kind of all the pieces fell together. And then, of course, Josh did all the magic to connect the camera with the internet and do all that kind of stuff. So super awesome that we were able to make it happen. But the magic has happened. How much is the 10-hour trip? The 10-hour all day is $119 per adult. That is our 10-hour all day trip. Let's see here. Next question. My daughter is visiting her best friend in Westfield, New York, 62 last night, and they wanted to trade places. We trade places with that anytime. It was 96 degrees the other day. I was ready to trade places, but wouldn't ever give up my place in Florida, especially, no offense, to live in New York. 100%. Where do I learn the basics? A rod, what reel to buy. The basics and how to rig, how to tie knots. You can definitely get started on our website at hubbardsmarina.com. Click fishing trips, click fishing video links. There's the Bass Pro Shop seminar page. There's the live stream page. There's tons of new options there right on our website with the fishing tips and tricks page, the Bass Pro Shop seminars, and our live stream shows too. And Josh says, look out for the new series coming soon. I don't know what you mean by that. More tips and tricks. We are actually, can I tell them about our plans, Josh?
Yeah.
Our website plans? Yeah, we can. Okay. So Josh has a master plan to totally redesign our entire website. So we launched Hubbard's Media Company a few months back, and we have taken on a few clients, and we are way busier than we were anticipated, which is a great problem to have, but it is crippled our ability to kind of use Hubbard's Media Company to help booster Hubbard's Marina, but we're getting back on track. We're finishing some big projects for our two big clients, and we should have some time in our hands, and we're going to transition Hubbard's Media's focus to Hubbard's Marina, our biggest client, and we're going to focus on rebuilding and somewhat rebranding our website, changing the flow, making it easier, and increasing the amount of information available, especially to new fishermen, trying to get people hooked on fishing and making bookings easier, one click or less. So you'll be able to go on the website and book a trip in an instant. 1 clicks or less bookings, adding more information and easier flow through the site is definitely the goal. David Martin, appreciate those stars, buddy. Thank you so much. And also Billy Murray with 200 stars. Appreciate you, Billy Murray. Thank you. What other questions do we have? I brine my thread fins. Why do they end up so soft? Do I need more salt? Yes, 100%. If you brine your bait and your bait ends up getting soft, definitely need more salt. And you need to keep it in a little cooler spot. So if your bait starts out really well frozen, you only need maybe a couple chips of ice or no ice at all. just a lot of salt. So like a normal 39-hour trip, I'll use a whole thing of salt, like what you would buy for your home to last you like a year and a half is what I would use for a small bait cooler, a 6-pack cooler of thread fin. By the end of the trip, the bait should only get more and more tough on the outside. But you go to grab that bait and squish it, it should squish very easily and be super mushy and soft on the inside. But the skin of that bait should be incredibly tough and very, very tense. That is a good brine solution. If your bait's all the way squishy or all the way soft, you don't have enough salt. It's not brining in a salt solution enough. So more salt, the merrier. And you don't have to salt bait or brine bait unless you're on a 39 or 44-hour trip. 12-hour trips, you could potentially brine your baits, but there's not enough room on the boat for everybody to bring a brine cooler, so don't bother with it. Any news from the 12-hour night snapper trip? The only news is that they're doing pretty darn well. We don't talk a lot about our 12-hour night snapper trip because it kind of sells itself. It has somewhat of a cult following. A lot of times we'll have the same 10, 15, 20 people going on every trip. It only happens Friday nights from March till around October on the moon phases. So it only happens about 2 to 3 times a month, and it only happens March through October, and it's only Friday night at 7 p.m. until 7 a.m. Saturday. So it's a super popular trip when the weather's nice, closer to those moon phases. So full moon, quarter moon, last quarter, especially full moon, they typically sell out first quarter, last quarter moon. If the weather's nice, they'll sell out, and we just don't talk about them too much because they're not super, they don't need much talking about. They do well, they catch fish, they're consistent, and people love them, especially in the summertime when it's 96 degrees during the day and humid as heck. Fishing at night all night long is not a bad option. It's kind of welcoming, staying up all night for that reason. You escape all that summertime heat. All right, we're getting to the end of our show. Let's pick up one last good question here. Are glow beads good for night fishing? Yes. Sometimes. Sometimes it works really well. Sometimes it'll affect your catch. Sometimes they want a glow bead. Sometimes they won't touch a glow bead. Sometimes it's fishing. Sometimes it's catching. You never know. It's not a science. I know when I was younger, I wouldn't fish without glow beads, even sometimes during the day, fishing deeper water. Nowadays, I won't even put glow beads on my leader. I like starting more natural, and then if the bite is slower and I look around and I see people catching mangroves and they're using glow beads and I'm not, I'll add some glow beads quickly to my leader. But if I'm catching fish not using glow beads with a more natural presentation, then I'm going to stick to no glow beads, you know. But if you look around and you see people catching fish, eyeball what they're doing. And that's what's cool about party boat fishing, is it gives you the opportunity to learn from the people around you and ask questions of the captains, ask questions of the crew, ask questions of the people that you notice, like, hey, the crew knows them by name and they seem like they might come out here a lot. What are they doing differently that's going to help them catch more fish than me? Watch and ask questions. Be nice. And most of the regulars, actually all of the regulars, should be more than willing to answer your questions and be welcoming and be super nice. It's actually a requirement of our regulars club. So if you find someone on the boat that looks like they go a lot, if you find a captain, a crew member, ask them questions. There's no stupid questions. It's only stupid not to ask, is my little saying, which I sometimes question. I feel like it's borderline not PC, but not much of my life is, so we're going to stick with it. And I like that. I mean, to me, it's silly not to ask a question, especially if you feel like, oh, if I ask this question, I'm going to be viewed as inexperienced or I don't know what I'm doing. And I face that a lot in my line of work, being a charter captain, being fourth generation, and kind of positioning myself as an expert in the industry when I'm on a radio show with Captain Mike and they're talking about speck fishing in fresh water or fishing upper Tampa Bay, and they're using these geographical locations that I have no knowledge of. I'm not afraid to be like, what are you talking about? What do you mean by that? Because I don't know. And I'm asking the question legitimately for myself, but now I know because I get to hear the answer, you know? So don't be afraid to ask questions. Even myself, if you listen to our radio show, you're going to hear me ask questions a lot to Captain Mike, to our Ron from Ron's Tackle Box. You'll learn a lot. And don't listen to Estelle with the nail polish thing. I just see some comments going on. I know. If you bring nail polish out and you start painting your leads, we're gonna have a talk. No, we had a regular. He's a captain now. Actually, it's Captain Joe Diebold. He works over at the Tampa Bass Pro Shops, and he does seminars over there. And he actually will paint his jig heads with a glow-in-the-dark nail polish, and then finish it with a glitter nail polish. At least he used to do this to his jig heads and some diamond jigs with pretty good success, and talked about it in a seminar. And I walked in and I see him with nail polish in his hands doing a seminar. I was like, what's going on over here? That was pretty interesting. But hey, if it works, it works, you know? You never know. So the supporters after show is going to be starting here very shortly. The supporters after show is going to be at 9:55 p.m. If you're a supporter, make sure you pop over for the after show for supporters only, 9:55 p.m. Also, make sure you check out our friends over at Gator Jim's Tackle at 3301 Pinellas Point Drive, South in St. Petersburg. Again, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive, South in St. Pete, Gator Jim's Tackle. Also, don't forget to check us out, Bass Pro Shops, July 24th, 2 p.m. This Tuesday night. Don't forget to check out Captain Mike Anderson, Bobby Lane over there at Bartow Ford. I'm going to be at our National Marine Fisheries Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council this upcoming week, Wednesday and Thursday over there in Naples, Fort Myers, Florida. Going to be leaving at like 2 a.m. Wednesday morning, getting back about midnight Thursday night from that meeting. Super excited, and hopefully getting a lot of stuff done down there in that Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council meeting. Amberjack, probably not reopening this year. They were supposed to be reopening August 1st, but probably not going to reopen. We'll find out for sure this upcoming week. Also, shout out to our other sponsors and partners besides our friends over there, Gator Jim's Tackle, Real Animals Fishing Show, Garmin Electronics, Yamaha Outboards, Bass Pro Shops, Engel Coolers, Salt Strong, Aquatic Nutrition, Sport Fishing Chums. And then also, don't forget to follow Hubbard's Marina on TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, Facebook, Nextdoor, Fishbrain, Waypoint TV, Trovo, and Twitch. Follow our pages, like us, all that good stuff. And become a supporter today. Only $4.99 a month. You get a lot of behind-the-scenes info. You get access to our private supporters group. And you get the private supporters after show, which starts at 9:55 p.m. in about 20 minutes. If you're a supporter, if you're not a supporter, you got 20 minutes to become one and join us for that supporters after show and all the behind the scenes information and more connectivity that you get in the supporters group, including captain and crew schedules, my personal contact information, and much, much more for only $4.99 a month. You can't beat it. You can't. You really can't. Hopefully, we'll see you all next week for another episode of the live stream show. Don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the show tonight. Hopefully, you enjoy our new webcam on top of the parking garage. And hopefully, we'll see you next week for another episode. Tight lines, y'all. We're out. Holy moly. We're not out. Tricked you. Oh, every time, Josh. Every time. Thank you. Josh luckily kept us on track there. I took my hat off, but it is what it is. We forgot the 39-hour trip giveaway. So our last free trip of the night giveaway, we got to give away our 39-hour trip for one guest. Let's see who won the 39-hour trip for one guest. No one really left the show, so they all knew I was coming back. You see that? They all knew I was messing with them. All right, let's see who won the 39-hour trip. Kenny Weaver from Lake Alfred. Congratulations, Kenny Weaver. You got 5 minutes or less to claim that free trip by texting us at the phone number right there. Lake Alfred, that's where Ron's Tackle Box is, our good buddy Ron over there at Ron's Tackle Box. Congratulations, Kenny. Appreciate everybody tuning in and joining us. We'll see you all next week for another episode of the live stream show. Supporters, 9:55. We'll see you then. Have a good night, y'all. We'll try this again. See you.